Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about stakes. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, if software engineers only get paid a decent salary but have a fairly high risk of being fired and having to find another job, isn't this considered to be a risky profession? Well, yes. You can think of it as a risky position, risky profession, but it really only is risky to the developers who are working in the lower ends of IT. Because usually the thing is, guys, if you're dealing with real IT companies who have it doesn't have to even be the big corporations; it can be startups as well. The last thing that they will get rid of under all circumstances is 99% of the time going to be the developers. And the reason is very simple, because without the developers they can't ship code. And if they can't ship code, there is no business. The thing that is risky, and that's the thing that you should really be looking out for, even in the bigger companies, is where are you working? What team are you joining? What office are you part of? That is something that is much more interesting, because if you are working on the main application or the heart of the company, you're pretty secure. I can promise you that. If you're a trained software developer and you're working on the core business logic, you can pretty much stay there. But if you, on the other hand, you work in like a satellite office, or if you work on some new project or something like that, anything that is like even the most is the slightest bit not part of main business, yes, then you are in a risk position, because the big wigs can pull the plug on that project if they don't see the conversion rates or the KPIs that they want to see. That is definitely a very real possibility, and it's even higher, I would say, at the lower ends of IT, where any project that you work on you can basically be undercut by an outsourcing firm or a consultancy or something like that. You always run the risk of getting let go of and having to find another job. But on the other hand, it's if you have solid skills, your skills are in so high demand that the only thing that it really is, honest to God, if you just get through the recruitment process, because usually the recruitment process sucks, you will have a new job before the usually here in Sweden we have a grace period of between 2 weeks to 3 months before you can actually resign, and you're actually forced to, like, you're not gonna get paid anymore. Uh, I can basically promise you that before that happens, you will have a job before that period ends. I mean, we used to. I was at my last job. They shut down. This was actually exactly the thing that was happening. So we were a remote office and we were working on the main product, but they decided to basically shut down the main product and migrated over to a different system. And so they outsourced the work, etc., etc., and they shut down the whole project. I think the person who got the job the quickest, like their next job the quickest, had it the same day they announced that they were going to shut down the office. I was really slow. It took me all of 2 weeks to have a new job. Like, I basically just asked them, "Is there any way I can like just quit early because I don't want to work here anymore?" And I think that the person who had to look the longest before they had a new job took about 4 weeks. That was, I think, roughly the time it took for that person. And everybody else, like, just immediately, there was like most of them kind of just relaxed. Like, a few of them were even saying that, you know what, I'm not going to look for another job until the summer vacation is over. I'm just going to kind of relax and take it slow, because the demand is so ludicrously high that I can only tell you that if they shut down one branch in one company, it is, for the most part, not going to be a problem for you, assuming, of course, that you have the skills to back it up. I mean, if, let's say, for the sake of argument, that you have the best position, like in terms of prospects and CV positioning, that would be something along the lines of, do you have around, say, 5 years of work experience for a semi, like an established company. It doesn't have to be something like Google or Facebook or something like that. It can just be an established company, that a brand that people would know or would be able to Google and find, oh, it's this company, or like it's something that is not like this tiny little consultancy where like nobody knows about the company, right? If you have that, you are human gold. Like, I really, like, I mean, honest to God, the only thing that is against you is the recruitment process. The recruitment process is weird and stupid, and if that wasn't part of it, you would be you are literally the closest thing to a rock star. Like, just they will throw jobs at you. There is like an entire industry of people trying to recruit you for their company. So even if for some reason they shut down that company that you were working in, if you have the skills to do the work of which is considered to be the mainstream work that most software developers do, you can spit in the air and find another company. Literally everybody who does IT is hiring developers. And as I said, it is usually the last thing that you let go of, because the problem is never to find a manager or a salesperson or anything like that. These people are there in droves. The problem is to find enough developers to scale up the company. So what I want you to take away from this is that, yes, you can absolutely consider software development to be a sort of high risk occupation, because if you work in the lower ends on smaller projects, or if you work in companies where you might be on a project that is experimental, because there is a lot of innovation going on. So I mean, some of the bigger companies, guys, they will throw like millions, because it's like nothing to them. They have so much money that it doesn't really matter, so they throw a few million on a fairly, like, they basically build an entire company just overnight. And here is a budget for 2 years. You have 2 years now to make us back that money, and if you don't do it, we're going to shut down your department. And if you're working in that department, of course, you always have that risk. So if you're really concerned about your positioning, you really have to think about the company, what is their core business, and you kind of have to be a little bit of a senior, a little bit tactical. But for the most part, the thing that you should really focus on is to have the core skills, because if you have the core skills, it doesn't matter if they shut down that department. I mean, even in the case where I was, the first thing they said was, well, you know, right, you don't have to just quit. You can come over to they were based in London. You can move here if you want to and start working here, because we still need developers. Yeah, you could do that as well. But for the most part, you're not going to have to do that, because if you have the core skills and your CV reflects it, literally everybody's looking for you. Odds are that you will have a job way before you even have to start getting a little bit worried that your savings might not sustain you. If you, assuming of course you have savings. I hope that you have. Saving is good. Save money. It's useful. Have a great day.